Well, KCTV5 is taking a closer look at the Kansas Child Abuse and Neglect Registry. We got involved when we discovered a woman with a developmental disability is on that list, and her family is outraged.
She was never arrested or convicted of a crime, but she's essentially blacklisted. Here's investigative reporter Angie Ricono.
Megan Miller worked at this daycare about 5 years ago. Little kids wandered off this playground. Fortunately, no one was hurt. There were 2 lead teachers in charge, and Megan, she was an aide. Her family says what happened next is frightening. A powerful government agency labeled their daughter abusive and neglectful towards children without realizing Megan was an aide with developmental disabilities. And no one wants to admit that they screwed up and are holding the wrong person accountable.
What is the registry? Can you explain it to me?
I'm not sure what it is.
Do you understand why we're here talking to you?
No.
This is 32-year-old Megan Miller. She contracted spinal meningitis as an infant. That damaged her brain. But in spite of her challenges, life has been full.
I like to go see movies, I like to play sports, I like to hang out with my friends, I like to go out to eat.
Here's Megan on vacation with her family. She's an athlete with Special Olympics. She placed second in the state in weightlifting, gold medals in track and field, and she loves children. This is Megan with her niece.
They give me happiness, and I'm good with kids, and they're just fun to be around.
Where was your last job where you worked with kids?
Be little learners, Megan.
Yeah, be little learners.
Megan worked 3 hours a day preparing snacks and playing with kids. She found the job through a division of DCF. They connect people with disabilities with employment. Megan was a teacher's aide.
Did you ever feel like she's going to be the #1 person in charge of these kids?
No. In fact, and even her job coach, that she was never to be left alone with the children, that she was there to assist the teacher only.
On May 12, 2012, 5 children wandered off the daycare playground.
Oh, everything just stopped.
Paige Cooper was a teacher at that daycare. She's the adult who discovered children were missing.
Like millions of thoughts were going through my head, like she could be anywhere.
Including her 2-year-old daughter, Garen. The children were found unharmed about 20 minutes later. Some were found in a ditch.
Did you blame Megan?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because she was more, I feel like she was more there to help.
Cooper was furious with 2 lead teachers. That's because one was on her iPhone. She's now learning Megan was lumped in with them.
I don't think that she should be. I think that's kind of ridiculous. The other 2, I believe, should be on there because they weren't doing their job. But I just never would have thought that they would consider Megan to put her on that list.
Once you are on that list, you can no longer work near children. Remember, the organization blackballing her is the same organization that suggested she work there in the first place.
I can't believe it.
Megan's parents didn't even know their daughter was part of a DCF investigation.
She got swept up in a mess.
Each one of these documents.
The parents call that investigation botched and shoddy. They point to DCF paperwork as proof. The notes never mention Megan as a person with disabilities. She's incorrectly labeled as a teacher. And check out this official letter from DCF dated June 11th of 2012, scheduling a meeting for March 22nd, 2011. That would be 447 days in the past.
None of them have ever met her. No.
And no one talked to her parents or her job coach. DCF did make attempts to call Megan, but she won't talk to strangers on the phone. The parents say, bottom line, once investigators had correct information, they wouldn't budge.
As her mother, I was appalled that my child was on that list. And somebody that would not hurt anybody, that has the kindest heart, would be on a list like that.
Megan's parents have spent years trying to remove her from that list. They've hired a lawyer and even went through an expungement process that took place by telephone in October.
Well, we've already spent $2,500.
Megan lost. Here's the letter from the head of DCF, Phyllis Gilmore. It is my final decision to deny your application for expungement.
Under consent.
And that's when KCTV 5 got involved. The parents didn't know where else to turn. Here's what we've learned about that registry. It's private and it's controlled by DCF and it's not affiliated with any courts, meaning there are people who are blacklisted, but they've never been convicted of any crime. Multiple police departments confirmed to us that not all crimes against children are investigated by DCF, meaning there are convicted criminals who aren't even on this list. DCF provided us this statement regarding Megan's case. The safety of children is always our top priority. We stand by our decision. However, we will be glad to consider any future requests that include additional information for review. So we made them a video. Remember, no DCF investigator has ever met Megan in person. We headed to Topeka. We made extra copies for the governor and the people who represent Megan. But the power ultimately lies with this woman, Phyllis Gilmore. This is Megan.
Tell me about the registry. I know you were telling me that's why you can't work with the kids. What is the registry? Can you explain it to me?
I'm not sure what it is.
Do you understand why we're here talking to you?
No.
Do you think it's fair to hold her accountable for what happened that day when you see her functional level?
Angie, you know, the question before me relates, well, our agency, the primary purpose of our agency is to protect children.
Gilmore refused to answer if she felt Megan was a danger to children, then quickly pointed out she didn't make the original decision.
Again, I can't speak, you're speaking to the original issue.
But you're
of
defending the original decision. Gilmore said the decision actually isn't final because new information could turn up. What could be new information on a 4-year-old case?
A hypothetical example might be a question perhaps that wasn't asked at the original time of expungement. What have you been doing during this time period?
We asked Gilmore the value of a registry that blackballs people with clean records but doesn't include all convicted criminals. What value is this registry?
That is a legislative question. It is a creature of the legislature, and you may, I assume you probably know that there is a national discussion going on about registries, and some states have, at least one state specifically, has done away with their registries. So, I mean, you're asking an important question.
Tonight, Megan Miller is still on the registry, although there's a lot of pressure to change that. This letter went out to DCF this week, and it's signed by the people who represent Megan in Topeka. I gave them access to our raw interviews and documents in this case. So this investigation continues, and we'll have an update and reaction from political leaders tomorrow night at 10.
Look forward to that. I know they're involved already, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angie.